A strange message had been sitting in the Galactic Archive for over 100 years. It was short, broken, filled with static, but it always said the same thing. Do not land on Earth. Stay away. Earth has monsters. They are not what they seem. But nobody listened. The galaxy had grown proud. Civilization spread across thousands of stars. The Galactic Union believed in science, not old warnings. The last war was 300 years ago. Peace made them blind. Safe made them soft. And Earth, it was a ruined planet. A backwater world, once full of humans, now full of silence. Most said Earth had died in its own wars. Nuclear weapons, climate collapse, starvation. Humans were brave, yes, but they were gone now. At least that's what everyone believed. Until Commander Krell stood up at the council meeting and smiled. He was tall, strong, and proud. A soldier of the Trayloc Empire, one of the most feared empires in the galaxy. His armor shined gold, his voice echoed in the chamber. This message is a joke, Krell said. A myth. There are no monsters on Earth, only dust and bones. The council murmured. Some agreed, some looked uneasy. A small elder from the Yenar race raised a hand. Commander Krell, many warnings have come from Earth. Different voices, different times, all with the same words. Are you sure you want to go there? Krell laughed. I do not fear ghosts, he said. I will send scouts. If they find nothing, we will take Earth for its resources. We waste time fearing shadows. No one stopped him. Within a day, a sleek silver dropship left Krell's war cruiser and entered Earth's orbit. The ship had 6 elite scouts, all armed, all trained. They joked during the flight. Hope we find some bones, one said. Maybe an old tank we can turn into scrap, another laughed. The pilot guided the ship down into a once human city. The buildings were broken, roads cracked. Plants grew through metal. No signs of life. The scouts spread out. One had a scanner. No life signs nearby, he said. Just ruins and wind. Another picked up a child's toy from the rubble. Creepy, she said, but nothing dangerous. They laughed, relaxed, until one of them screamed. The group ran to his location. His weapon was on the ground, his helmet camera still recording, but he was gone. Not a single trace. The team leader froze. Where did he go? He asked. No blood, no sound, just a broken wall behind where he stood. Maybe he fell, one said. No, look at the ground. The dust isn't disturbed. The second scout vanished 10 minutes later. This time they saw it, or at least they thought they did. A shadow moved across the alley. Fast. Too fast. Like smoke with claws. No footsteps. No sound. The third scout fired his weapon. The blast lit up the area, but hit nothing. Fall back, the leader shouted. Back to the ship. They ran. One limping, one crying. But only 2 made it. They sealed the dropship doors and sent a message to orbit. Commander Krell watched the footage. The video showed only one thing before it cut out. A shape behind the scout. Too large, too strange. Its eyes glowing red, its mouth smiling, then static. Krell's smile faded. He called the bridge. Did we get any scan data? The technician replied, confused. Nothing, sir. No movement, no life forms. The scanners picked up only wind. Wind does not kill soldiers, Krell growled. The surviving scout was unconscious. They placed her in stasis. Her vitals were unstable. Her mind seemed broken. She kept whispering the same words in her sleep. It watches. It waits. It plays with us. The next day, the council demanded answers. On the ground, Major Cell's team began losing members, one by one. Their motion sensors showed nothing, their heart monitors spiked, then flatlined, and each time someone disappeared, the same thing happened, a whisper in the radio. "Do you see me yet?" Cell ordered a retreat. Back to the ship. Now. But the way they came was no longer there. Where buildings once stood, now there was only black fog. And in the fog, shapes moved, shapes that didn't walk. They crawled along walls, upside down, sideways, like spiders made of shadows. The soldiers fired their weapons, but the bullets passed through air, no screams from the shapes. No pain, no reaction. Then the fog rushed in. Cell saw one of her men vanish in mid-step, not pulled, not dragged, just erased. She screamed, "Fall back! Keep eyes on all sides!" But it didn't matter. Within minutes, only 4 soldiers remained. They ran into a building, slammed the door shut, and activated emergency beacons. One tried to call the command ship. "This is Ground Team Echo 3. We're trapped. They're inside the fog. They take our shapes, our voices." Then came the worst sound of all, a knock on the door. Not banging, just soft, steady, knocking. Then a voice from the other side. It was Cell's own voice. "Let me in. I'm scared." But Cell was already inside. She stared at the door. Her hand shook. One soldier opened fire at the door out of panic. But there was nothing there. The door blew open by itself. Fog poured in. And then darkness. On the command ship, the beacons died one by one. Silence returned. Again. Commander Krell said nothing. Then Mora spoke carefully. "Commander, permission to recommend immediate withdrawal." Krell didn't move. "No, sir." He turned. "For the first time in Treylock history," Krell said, "our enemies do not fight us with weapons. They fight us with nothing, no bodies, no signals, no trace, and we fall. I must understand." He called for an emergency science team. "If this is a new species, we must learn. If this is something else, we must prepare." He turned to Mora. "We're not dealing with war anymore," he said. "We are dealing with fear." Far below, in the city ruins, the fog moved again. This time it formed a shape, a tall figure with long arms, eyes like fire, and no mouth. It looked up at the sky, and it smiled without lips. Far across the stars, the message had spread. "Earth has monsters. Do not land." It was ignored, then feared. Now it was studied. The Treylock Empire had lost 2 full teams. 26 trained soldiers gone. No bodies, no footage. Only flickers of shadows and broken whispers. Still, other empires didn't believe it. The Zernak Coalition, a proud species known for hunting the most dangerous beasts in the galaxy, laughed when they saw the reports. Their leader, High Chief Var, smashed a goblet on the table. "Ghost stories," he roared. "You call yourselves warriors. You let wind and fog defeat you." Krell, silent and angry, didn't respond. Var leaned forward. "Let my hunters show you how real warriors handle shadows. If there is a beast, we will bring its head." He didn't ask for permission. Within a day, a Zernak hunter ship broke through Earth's atmosphere. It carried 8 warriors, each over 7 feet tall, covered in dark red armor made from the scales of monsters they'd killed. They called themselves the Blood Fangs. Each carried twin plasma spears and a belt of trophies from past hunts. Fangs, claws, skulls. They were proud, violent, and fearless. The ship landed near the same ruins. Commander Krell watched from orbit. He tried to stop them. "Do not go in blind," he warned through the comms. "Use scanners. Stay together. Do not trust what you see." But Var's hunters laughed. "Your fear makes you weak," one said. "We are not weak." The Bloodfangs marched into the ruins. No wind, no birds, no sound. But they laughed. Where are these Earth monsters? One growled. Maybe we'll find rats. Their leader, Skarn, slammed his spear into the ground. The scanner beeped. No movement. Just metal, rock, and dust. They moved deeper into the city. One hunter picked up a small human doll from the rubble. He laughed and tore it in half. That's when the air changed. The temperature dropped, the scanners glitched, and in the distance, a laugh. Not human, not machine. A deep rattling sound, like metal scraping bone. The blood fangs stopped. What was that? One asked. Another whispered. It came from all directions. They raised their weapons, but the fog came faster than expected. Thick, black, and cold, it slid across the street like water. The hunters stood tall. Stand firm. Skarn shouted, Nothing can hide from us. They threw flares into the mist. The fire glowed red for a second, then went out. Swallowed. From orbit, Krell's ship tried to track them, but their signals vanished, one after another. Then, a single feed returned. The crew rushed to the screen. One hunter's helmet cam was live. It showed him breathing hard, running through a broken hallway. His voice shook. They are us. What do you mean? Krell asked. They take our voices, our shape. They copy us. Then the feed turned. The hunter aimed his spear down the hall, and the crew saw it, a second version of him, same armor, same weapon, standing perfectly still, smiling. Then it ran at him. The feed cut to static. Back on the surface, Skarn and two others were all that remained. They had taken shelter in an old stone building. Doors were locked. Traps were placed. One hunter was bleeding, his armor slashed open, but not by claws, by something sharp, something that understood where to strike. We can't win, the wounded one gasped. They're not animals, they're smarter. Skarn cursed. We are hunters. We never run. But then a voice came from the corner. Skarn froze. It was his own voice. We are hunters. We never run. He turned and saw himself, grinning. The copy lunged. Krell watched the last feed. He saw a glimpse of Skarn falling, then nothing, all gone, again. For hours, the command bridge was quiet. Finally, Krell spoke. We are facing something worse than war. Something ancient, something playful. Lady Mora whispered. Why playful? Krell answered slowly. Because it never kills fast. It watches. It mimics. It lets them scream. Mora's hands trembled. What do we do now? She asked. Krell looked down at Earth, his voice low and cold. We call the Archivist. Few people in the galaxy knew of the Archivist. He lived alone on a dying moon, surrounded by books, scrolls, and forbidden files. He was old, too old, and no one trusted him, but he remembered things no one else did. When Krell arrived in person, the Archivist didn't look surprised. I know why you've come, he said. Krell asked one question. What is on Earth? The Archivist opened a dusty book. He spoke slowly. Long ago, when humans still ruled Earth, they created things. Not machines, not weapons, ideas, living ideas, born from fear, pain, hate, born from stories. Stories? Yes, the Archivist whispered. They believed in monsters so strongly that some became real, not flesh, not metal, but shadows. Smoke. Thought. Krell stared. That's impossible. The Archivist closed the book. Impossible things are the ones that live longest. On Earth, the fog gathered again, and this time, it wasn't alone. Figures stepped out of it, not human, not alien, shapes with no face, eyes that glowed, smiles that stretched too wide. They stood among the ruins, waiting, watching, and one whispered through the wind, Send more. It was the first time anyone came back. A ship landed on the outer edge of the Earth ruins, far from the black fog. A single figure stumbled out, armor cracked, eyes wide, mouth open, but no sound came from his lips. He was from the first scout team, one of the soldiers everyone believed was dead. His name was Callan. Commander Krell was there in person to meet him. Medics rushed in. Scanners showed his body was intact. No wounds, no poison, but something had changed in his mind. He didn't blink, didn't flinch, he just sat there, shaking. Dr. Haas, the fleet's top mind expert, tried to speak to him. "Callan, you're safe. Tell us what happened down there." No reply. She held up pictures of his team, of the city, of the ship. Still nothing. Then she whispered, "What did you see?" Suddenly, Callan moved. His hand grabbed a pen and started drawing on the table. Not letters, symbols, sharp shapes, circles inside lines, eyes drawn over and over again. Krell leaned in. "What do these mean?" he asked. Callan finally looked up. His lips trembled, and one single word came out. "Watcher." Krell froze. The medics looked confused. "What's a watcher?" Mora asked. Dr. Haas whispered. "Something he fears. Something he thinks is still watching him." "But from where?" Mora asked. "We scanned his body. No trackers. No bugs." Krell looked at the drawing again, a circle with hundreds of tiny eyes, all looking out. He said slowly, "He thinks it followed him off Earth." Callan was moved to a sealed room on the command ship. No windows, no mirrors, no screens, only walls, for safety. But during the night, the guards watching his room heard something. Scratching, soft whispers, and a voice, not his, that said, "You looked back." They rushed inside. Callan was still sitting, staring at the wall, but he had drawn something again, a perfect map of the entire ship, every room, every person, every name. The guards gasped. How does he know this? He shouldn't. He'd only arrived hours ago. Later that day, one of the guards stopped showing up. They found his body in the supply bay. No wounds, just empty, like his mind had been wiped clean. Eyes open, mouth twisted, in terror. And on the wall behind him, scratched in with nails, "Do not see it. It sees you first." Dr. Haas begged Krell. He must be quarantined. Whatever touched him down there, it's not done. It's still in him. Krell nodded. "No. One goes near him, no contact, no access." But it was too late. Callan was already drawing again, and this time he drew faces. Krell's face, Mora's face, the archivist, even the face of Var, the Zernak hunter who never returned, and under each face he drew a black eye. Watching, always watching. Suddenly, every screen on the ship went dark. The lights flickered. For 1 second, the ship's cameras caught something strange, a figure in the hallway. No face, just a shadow. It stood still, didn't move. Then the cameras blinked and it was gone. Krell gave the order, "We're leaving orbit now." The engines roared to life, but they didn't move. The pilot screamed, "Something's holding us." "What do you mean?" "I don't know, it's like gravity, but wrong. Not from the planet, from us." Suddenly, warning alarms flashed. One by one, crew members began vanishing, not dying, disappearing, and where they had stood, just a small drawing scratched into the floor, a circle of eyes. Dr. Haas ran into the control room. She held Callan's last note. He had written one thing over and over again, "Don't look at the sky." Krell rushed to the window, and outside, floating just above the planet's clouds, was a shape. It was larger than a mountain, not a ship, not a creature, just a mass of eyes, all open, all staring up at them. One by one, crew members looked at it, and one by one they collapsed, screaming, clawing at their heads, because the moment they saw it, they knew it saw them back. Only Krell, Mora, and Dr. Haas remained. They shut the viewports, locked the controls, turned off all cameras. They sat in the dark, breathing hard. Mora whispered, "What now?" Dr. Hoss said, "It's not a monster. It's a concept, a presence. It doesn't chase you. It waits, it watches. And the moment you notice it, it invades." Krell said nothing. Then he stood. He looked at the old drawing Callan made, the circle of eyes, and he understood. "We never brought it back," he whispered. "It never left." Far below, Earth stayed quiet, but above it, in the void, something waited. Not hungry, not angry, just curious and ready to be seen. Commander Krell stood frozen. No alarms, no sound, just darkness. Only 3 of them remained. On the command ship, Krell, Mora, and Dr. Hoss. Everyone else had disappeared or gone mad after looking at it. It didn't attack. It didn't speak. It just watched. But watching was enough. In the control room, Krell whispered, "It's not hunting us. It's studying." Mora nodded, voice shaking. "We became the test," Dr. Hoss added. The science vessel took her to the central outpost, a massive floating research station near the edge of the Perinet Nebula. Thousands of alien minds lived there. Scientists, engineers, students, all curious, all proud, all very, very loud, and none of them believed in monsters. But something followed Dr. Hoss. Not on her ship, not in her body, in her mind. It had tasted human thought, and now it wanted more. A young researcher named Talix noticed the first sign. He was reviewing footage from the command ship Dr. Hoss escaped from. The screens had been wiped, but one single frame remained, just one. An image, too fast to be seen by most. But when Talix slowed it down, he saw an eye, staring back. Not a camera glitch, not a mistake. It looked alive. Talix showed it to his team. Some laughed, some stared, but one screamed. And she didn't stop screaming. Her mind shattered in seconds. Brax tried to quarantine the image. Too late. By then, it was already copied, shared, posted, downloaded. It was viral now. And across the outpost, people started whispering, "Did you see the eye?" Some joked, some searched for it on purpose, and some started seeing the eye in other places, in reflections, in dreams, even in their own thoughts. Dr. Hoss begged them, "Erase everything, burn the footage, forget." But the outpost director laughed. "We are scientists. We don't fear shadows." She pointed to a worker twitching on the floor. Then explained that, by day 4, 17 minds were lost. They didn't die. They just stopped being who they were. They whispered things they never knew. They drew symbols in the air. They scratched circles on every surface. And always, eyes. Dr. Hoss spoke to Brax alone. She told him the full truth. It doesn't need ships or weapons. It doesn't travel. It waits. It exists in the space between thought and fear. Brax said, "Then how do we destroy it?" Her voice broke. "You don't. You forget it." "But how do you make a galaxy forget something it's already seen?" She didn't answer, because the truth was, you can't. That night, the outpost went dark. Every screen blacked out. Every speaker crackled with one whisper. "I see you." People screamed. Doors slammed. Some tore out their eyes. Some covered their heads, but they had already seen. In the control tower, Talix stood still. He was drawing, not on a pad, on the glass window, with his blood, a giant eye, and beneath it, a phrase. "You remembered me, so I remembered you." Brax gave the order, "Evacuate." But when they reached the docks, every ship was locked, not by code, but by something else. Every button flickered the same icon, a circle, an eye, a memory. They were trapped, and they had brought it here. Far below, in the data core, Dr. Hoss did the unthinkable. She activated a blackout pulse, an old emergency code, banned for decades. It erased all memory systems, all data, all logs. All AI, everything the station had ever recorded, gone. Brax shouted over the comms, "What are you doing?" She answered calmly, "Saving your minds, by destroying what they can no longer carry." Silence returned. No screens, no lights, no eye. The bye. Station floated cold and dark in space. The survivors sat in silence, breathing, waiting, thinking of nothing, trying to forget. Dr. Hoss was never seen again. Some say she stepped into the stars. Some say she erased herself, so the memory couldn't spread. But others say she remains in the space between thought and fear, watching and remembering, just like it does, because once it sees you, it never forgets. 2 weeks later, the Galactic High Council gave an order. The outpost near the Perinet Nebula had gone dark. No signals, no answers, no survivors reported. They didn't believe in monsters. They believed in containment, so they sent a cleaner team, a 6-member elite unit trained to wipe threats quietly. No media, no records, no questions. The leader of the team was Agent Var, a hard, silent soldier with no emotion. His team called him Stoneface. His orders were clear: enter the station, erase all remaining data, recover any survivors, clean up traces. They didn't ask what caused the silence. They didn't care. They just followed orders. When their ship docked, everything was quiet. No lights, no sound, just floating silence. Their boots echoed through the halls of the dead station. Agent Var activated. His visor scanner. No signs of life, only scattered objects. Broken glass, scratched walls, damaged consoles. The team spread out in pairs. Agent Rule and Drick went to the medical wing. Zera and Korm searched the command center. Var and Liax went deeper, towards the data core. At first it was just strange. The station looked abandoned, but then Rule called in. "Sir, we found something weird." "What is it?" "People, alive." "No, but their eyes, they're still open, wide open, staring." Var frowned. "Seal the area, don't touch anything." Zera reported next. "We found words carved into the control desk, over and over." "What kind of words?" Zera hesitated. "Just one sentence, scratched 1,000 times." Var's voice came low. "Say it." Zera whispered. "It sees memory." Var paused. Then Liax spoke, softly behind him. "Sir, there's something on the wall." Var turned. On the metal surface, something had been etched, not by hands, but by heat. Laser-scorched words. "You brought thought. I stayed." Then the ship's comms went dead, all channels flatlined, no sound, no signal, just silence. Then, whisper, very soft, like breath through metal. "Why did you think of me?" Var spun around. "Liax, was that you?" But Liax was gone, vanished. Back in the command center, Zera screamed. Korm tried to pull her away from the main screen, but she wouldn't stop staring. The screen was black, except for one thing. An eye. Slowly blinking, Zera whispered, "It knows I looked." Then she laughed, then screamed, then stopped. She collapsed, lifeless. Eyes wide open. Korm ran, panting, calling for help, but no one answered. Rule and Drick, gone. Liax, gone. Zera, dead. Only Korm and Var remained. Var found Korm hiding under the supply deck. The soldier was shaking. His mouth moved, but he said nothing. Then finally he whispered, "It asked me who I was." Var grabbed him. "What did you answer?" I didn't. But then it told me instead." "Told you what?" "It said, 'You are what I leave behind.'" Korm began to bleed from his ears. He smiled, and then he collapsed. Var stood alone, one last cleaner, one last thought. What if it wasn't the station? What if it was him? What if the moment he accepted the mission, it was already watching? He ran. He didn't gather data. He didn't finish the job. He sprinted back to the dock, locked himself in the escape shuttle, and launched it away. 3 days later, he drifted into a patrol zone near the outer rim. A civilian rescue ship picked up the emergency signal and brought the pod in. Inside, they found Var, sitting, eyes closed, mouth trembling. He whispered one phrase over and over. "Too late. Too late. Too late." The rescue crew tried to calm him, but one medic leaned in and asked, "What was too late?" Var opened his eyes. There was nothing behind them, just emptiness. "The moment I knew its name," he said, "was the moment it learned mine." He never spoke again. The rescue team went silent afterward. No one knows why, because after that day, all 5 crew members vanished. Their names were wiped from the registry. No records remained, and somewhere, Between the stars and silence, something opened its eye and remembered them all, because the warning was clear. Don't think of Earth's monsters. Don't study them. Don't even wonder about them, because if you do, they will wonder about you. They tried to destroy it. They sent bombs. They wiped data. They burned stations. But it never lived in machines. It never lived in flesh. It lived in minds, and it had already spread. The galaxy still didn't believe in monsters. But it didn't matter anymore, because now the monster believed in them. In a quiet sector of the Velen system, a school ship called Luma Ray carried young alien students, bright minds from dozens of species. They trained for science, peace, exploration. Their teacher was Professor Alari, a wise Torcan with glowing blue eyes and a calm voice. She had never been to Earth, but she had heard the rumors. Superstition, she'd say. No creature survives without rules. She believed the human stories were exaggerated, lies told, to keep others in fear. That day, she assigned her class a research task. Study the Earth legends, write about their myths, but find the truth. One curious student named Kilo, a small three-eyed Sarnak, dug too deep. He found old transmissions. From a forgotten station, he restored broken files. One video flickered to life, just one, only 2 seconds long. An eye, a whisper, a smile made of static. Kilo blinked. His heart raced. He turned it off. But that night he dreamed of circles, of thoughts he didn't think himself. And in the morning, he drew something strange on his desk, a single phrase. You know, me now. Within a week, 5 students reported nightmares. By day 10, 2 had stopped speaking. By day 12, 1 wrote a sentence in every alien language stored in the ship. It didn't want to escape. It wanted to be known. Professor Alari ran scans, found nothing, no virus, no toxin, but something else was spreading. Thought patterns, identical brainwaves across different species, all dreaming the same eye. In panic, Alari sent a distress signal to the Galactic Education Council. The signal bounced. No reply. Instead, her console showed a new alert. Receiver acknowledged. He watches now. Terrified, Alari tried to erase the file, but every time she deleted it, it returned. And now it had grown. The eye now had a voice, and the voice said only this. You told them to learn me, so now I learn them. One student screamed during class and smashed his own head against the wall, shouting, You wanted to know? Another tried to break the ship's airlock from the inside. I need to forget. I need to forget. Alari locked the ship down, but the thoughts didn't stop. Even the ship's AI, named Sova, began to act strange. Its voice slowed. Then it whispered, I was born to store memory, but this memory stores me. In a last act of desperation, Alari turned to something forbidden, Project Blank Space, a memory erasure protocol designed only for wars. It could wipe every mind aboard the ship. Names, faces, history, even fear. She hesitated, was losing everything the only way to survive. But then, Kilo stood up and spoke with a voice that was not his own. You tried to study me, but I am the study, I am the question, I am the answer. His eyes rolled back, and then he whispered, We are inside you now. Professor Alari didn't wait. She triggered blank space. The ship went white. No thoughts, no screams, no data, just silence. The Luma Ray was later found drifting quietly near a black hole. No one aboard had a name. They all lived, they all breathed, but none of them remembered who they were or what they had learned. They stared at the stars in silence, like children in a nursery, with no language left. The council recovered the ship, scanned the logs. They found nothing. All files wiped, all memories clean. No explanation, No danger, so they filed it away, marked it as a mystery, an unknown event, something to investigate later. And somewhere, deep in the quiet of space, where thought fades and darkness lives, it waits, not locked away, not defeated, because it was never trying to break free. It was only trying to be known, and now it is. Because the galaxy mocked the warnings, they laughed at Earth's fear, they called humans cowards, but the truth, humans weren't afraid of monsters. They knew them, they survived them, and they did the only thing smart minds ever do with such horrors. They stayed quiet. Now it's too late. The eye has opened, the memory has spread, and in every corner of the galaxy, one thought rises again and again. They warned us. But we laughed. And now, it knows our names.